3, 2, 1 over here. It's okay, I'm going to be editing this stuff anyhow. All right. Welcome once again, fellow viewers and friends, to the 2022 Y.E.S Awards. I need the Dundee. Totally forgot. Does someone want to grab the... Oh, no, the Dundee's moved it. Thank you, Aaron. This is not an award that says yes on it, but it is the substitute for what we can give to other people. And it has something to do with it. I'm going to put it over in front of the camera over here. Dundee. Thank you, Michael Scott, for inventing these. So, we're going to go over this. Anybody have any fun comments about 2022 in general? Was it an overall good year, a pretty average year, or above average? Anybody want to say anything?
Pretty decent. It was pretty good.
Okay.
It's like the recoup year, I feel. Like 2023 should be the year.
Yeah.
Things like really happen.
I actually don't feel like I have too many crazy plans for this upcoming year, so I don't really know what to anticipate other than just trying to invent goals for myself. This definitely was a better year. I know when most of us were here, we did this in 2020, and we were all like, we're alive. And then 2021, we were like, it was better, but, you know, it is what it is. But something interesting that we can get started on is during this award season, for majority of this, Devin, aka Devin the Dev, aka Pretzel, is going to entertain the viewers over here, people, with trying to solve as many Rubik's Cubes as he possibly can in the time frame that we have. So Devin, showcase your talents, and we'll talk about everything that we want to as we go through these awards and mentions and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So do your thing. Before we get into the first category, does anybody have an award they want to mention earlier before anybody else?
Get it now.
I mean, we're all going to do it eventually, but if anyone wants to mention it first, they can do that. Otherwise, we're going to start on a somber topic. So if anyone wants to mention anything positive, we can do that first.
I mean, I have tons of positive things, but
All right.
We'll wait.
We'll wait. Okay. So we're going to start with the top 10 aw man moments of 2022. So it's weird to start out somber. I'll probably improve this in a better way in the coming years, but that's what we're going to start off with first. So I don't always remember exactly how the top 10 goes, so we're just going to play it by ear. We'll get number 10 first, which is Y.E.S, Chill Hop. They did not produce a lot of music this year, and that saddened me a lot. They made some playlists, but most of... Hey! Kevin got his first cube. I mean, given it's like just 2, so look at that camera over there. Ah, there it is. Okay, so booyah! There we go. I have no idea. I've never tried.
I've never been able to do it.
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, so Chill Hop did not make as much original music. They made some playlists for, the seasons and things like that. But they made so much music that I loved from last year that I was hoping that this past year, 2022, would have been amazing. They didn't do as much. I guess they did everything in 2021, so now they've got to get ready for this.
They did team up with Rocket League, and so they released a bunch of Rocket League stuff in game, and then also a bunch of tracks within Rocket League.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So that was a cool thing.
Okay, okay, I'll have to look into that. All right, so let's move on to number 9, and this one is going to be Celine Dion. Sadly, Celine Dion is not feeling well. She has some kind of cancer. I don't remember which one, sadly. She was going to take a tour. She's got I think she still has a residency in Las Vegas, and I'm dying to see her still. But, so she's not feeling well. She was going to take a tour to Europe, and she made this video on Instagram, and it was actually really hard to watch, because she had That ruined the mood, dude! But anyway, I'm sorry, Celine Dion. Yes, I'm sorry. But anyhow, she was not feeling well, and I just wanted to let her know in this list that, at least on my end, for putting this together, that I'm thinking of you, I pray for you, hope you get better very soon. So, that's an on-man moment for me. Let's go on to number 8. The AGT. This was not a bad year, but it was not a great year. I feel like they've let down. They're starting to do tropes, and I'm getting really tired of it. And the people, I know those of you who were here last year, a lot of us who watched the auditions were very perplexed by some of the people who did not even get to the next round, even though they got yeses. Like, who's the comedian that we really liked? The guy from Florida.
Florida man?
Like, he didn't make it past all the, into the elimination rounds.
Was that Martino Grigio?
Yes.
Oh.
Cam Newton. There we go.
Yeah.
Cam Bertrand.
Bertrand. There we go.
Yeah.
Cam Newton's a football
The
player.
one
My
that
bad.
introduced you to.
Yes. So, wait. He is on YouTube? He took down YouTube? Or?
No, I introduced it to him.
Okay. Yes.
But he's actually on
Dry Bar Comedy.
Dry Bar Comedy.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he did a great job. That was really funny. Thanks, Ryan, for doing that. But yeah, AGT this year was kind of complicated. They also did a segment called AGT Extreme, which was okay. I didn't love it because it was basically you either make it in or you don't, and then they vote for the top 4, and that's it. So AGT is kind of like, they're trying to simplify it. It's really complicated. I still like the show, but I'm starting to feel like your production is creating too much complications for actual good talent. So I hope that they can try and fix that. All right, moving on to number 7. We have... Okay, this was a biased one. The Angels, once again, squander their chances at making it very far. This is my baseball team, but it's legitimate. Like, I have a lot of legitimacy for putting it in this list, but it would be even more biased if I put them higher on the list. So they hired the manager for, I can't remember his name right now, the manager who helped the Cubs win their first World Series in forever. And that was supposed to help the Angels move along, and it didn't really work out. I think they went on like a 9-11 game losing streak at one point, and then they let go of their manager, and nothing else went through. Thanks a lot, Devin, I appreciate it. Okay, so quick mention there. I don't want to get too deep into it, so let's go to number 6. The Grammys. I thought the Grammy Awards were pretty bad this year, actually. I did not like, and I'm mostly speaking for the Album of the Year, but I don't feel like any other category did particularly amazing. I'm sure that there are some awards that I agree with. I know in the crevices of my brain, there were some where I'm like, that's fine. But I do feel like it's getting more and more uninteresting. So, for some, Aaron, you can't tell. If
I'm
you're
not.
excited.
I'm just not a big
Awards guy.
like music. For music awards, I just feel like it's very, especially music awards, is very super political. So I just tend to not watch them.
Right.
There's like the only like awards I watch are usually like the video game awards, and that's
Okay.
pretty much it.
All right. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to that one. So number 5 in on-man. Back to baseball. Tennessee in college. I guess their regular season they were either undefeated or they were, basically, they did not have a lot of losses, and they didn't make it very far in the college championships. And it just was kind of a letdown for them because they had worked so hard for it. So I figured I'd give them a mention here as well. Okay, so let's go on to number 4. I'm trying to remember how you pronounce his name. I don't want to butcher it. Roger Federer, for tennis, announces he's retiring. And he's accomplished a lot. There are other athletes who do this, but he's just done so much, and he's quite a competitor. And I just thought it was worth mentioning that, okay, we're not going to see him for those who care about tennis. Number 3, Israel Adesanya. Actually got a loss this year in the ring, or the octagon. Now he was very humble about it, so I applaud him for being. He's just won the last 6 championships in his weight class, something like that, and he's just kind of been very dominant. But to see him lost was kind of a gut punch. no pun intended. But yeah. So yeah, Israel. So he'll be back, I'm sure. Okay, number 2. Moving on. Henry Cavill is not going to come back as Superman.
Yeah.
At this time.
At this time. I feel like everyone kind of knows a little bit about this. Is anyone else really... I don't know who everyone kind of feels is their quote-unquote Superman, but I thought he did a really good job, even though DCEU's very mixed feelings. I thought he was a great part of it. Anyone want to comment on that before we get to number 1?
I mean, I like him. I didn't love Man of Steel or and some of the other later stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Henry Cavill as Superman, overall.
Same here. The movie Man of Steel, it was good. I thought that the last scene, that fight scene, was too long, but it's whatever. But as far as Henry Cavill being Superman and portraying that character, I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also very sad that he is no longer playing Geralt of Rivia.
In The Witcher?
In The Witcher, yeah.
Yeah. So we got to find new projects for him, basically.
I mean, apparently, rumor has it that he's working on the new Warhammer series.
That's what I heard.
I heard that as well.
So I'm pretty excited, even though I'm not a huge Warhammer, I don't know a lot about it, but I would be very interested to see what they do with it.
I'm surprised how much of a freaking nerd he is.
Yeah.
All right. He also built his own computer, pretty much. And I think in 2020, he built his own computer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. He's done quite a bit. He's a talented dude. All right. Number 1 aw man moment for me, at least, in 2022. Disney. A lot of misses this year for Disney.
For sure.
They did not do great.
I'm sure we could all specify something that we didn't like.
Obi-Wan.
Let's see. Okay, so here's one I want to mention. So I'm gonna put the camera on Tanner because I want to see what his reaction is.
Alright.
I once suggested that we watch Turning Red, and he was not really into that.
I was not.
No. I eventually, so I got Disney Plus again because it came as a bundle to watch Red Bull BC1, and I thought, well, as long as I have Disney Plus for this next month, let's see what I missed out on. And I watched Turning Red, and it was weird and confusing. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever watched, but it was not really all that good. So
There's a lot of, I do have to say, there was a lot of cultural stuff because it's Taiwanese, and so there's a lot of stuff that you will get if you are more if you're more Chinese Taiwanese side, you'll get a lot more.
I think those first 20 minutes were probably
More dedicated towards that. Because I was okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Those first 20 minutes, I was like, this seems decent. I was fine with it because I get that. I do somewhat remember that. She's very dedicated. She wants to please her mom. She wants to do all this stuff. I'm like, okay.
And there's the in joke with I think it was the auntie or someone doesn't like the number 4, and that's a huge.
Oh yeah.
Asian things 4 is a bad number.
Yep. Let's see. Any else? Okay, I did not plan on seeing this. My family took me to see it. I did not like Lightyear. I thought it was a terrible movie.
I didn't hear good things about it anyway.
It was, and it's not just for maybe the quote-unquote political things that went on with it. Those are barely in the movie. It's just not that interesting. So, we've got that.
Should have just made another Toy Story.
Yeah.
Those would be good.
I thought they were going to make a Toy
They should
Story
have
5.
played it safe and just gone with another Toy Story.
I'm sure we could go on, and if anybody wants to mention something about Disney, feel free to do so, but we'll move on to another category or so. Where are we on time right now?
We are at 14 minutes.
Is that going upward or downward?
It is going up.
Okay, so that means we got about 5 minutes before we have to start recording again. Okay, which category should we talk about first? Movies, music, anyone want to give a Dundee, aka a fake yes award to somebody?
Yes, actually, I do.
Okay. Think fast. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna destroy my Dundee. Okay, let's turn the camera back to Tanner.
So I would give a Dundee Award to Stranger Things season 4.
Okay.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Here's the clap first.
Here's that.
Thank you, right to that.
TV shows?
Anything.
Anything?
If you,
Well, so, I mean, if we're talking along the lines of TV shows, like there's a ton. There's a ton. If
I know you threw in a few. So do we want to?
all right, I'll just go over the ones that I really liked.
Okay.
So I think even though Disney did have a lot of misses, I thought Andor was a very good show.
Okay.
I think that was
A
like
lot of critics agree.
the big redeeming Star Wars like show for us. So really great for that one.
That's the one I plan on watching this week. So they haven't gotten into it
I
yet.
also felt Moon Knight was like out of like the like She-Hulk is pretty up there. Like I think She-Hulk is pretty up there, but I think Moon Knight was like a standalone, very different, but was a very good like show, and it didn't take mental health like too lightly or anything like that.
Okay.
So I felt that was definitely The Sandman on Netflix. I think that show is just good through and through. Like
All right.
The Sandman was great.
yeah, it's the thing that all the fans have been waiting for. Literally.
I've only heard a few things
The
about
Sandman?
that one.
The Sandman, yeah, written by
It's a Netflix show, right?
on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Written by Neil Gaiman.
And then Primal, Emmy award-winning show, Primal, by Gennady Tarkovsky, who did Samurai Jack and the original 2D Clone Wars.
Is it the same style of animation?
Yeah, it's a 2D drawn style, but I think in the second season there might be a third season potentially, but the second season aired in 2022, and it was. I don't know if I would say it's as good as the first one, but it's a still great season that happened.
All right. Cool.
So if you like, what he does is a little different because with Primal, it's less dialogue than anything and more of like body language and everything.
All right. Cool.
Definitely picks to watch.
I'm very interested because a lot of these shows I have not seen, so I like hearing your recommendations. Now, one that I got to watch with you. I don't know if you want to throw in a little highlight for that one.
Yeah. You can mention it and then I'll pick up.
I don't know how to say the intro.
Hey.
I just call it "Love Is War." Yay, you got another one. How many
I'm
is that?
pretty sure I solved this one. Which one of you guys scrambled it up?
I didn't describe
Ryan's
that
a
one.
mischievous little raccoon.
I might go back and fix this one.
Makes things more interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Couldn't tell you.
But yeah, Love Is War.
Yeah, Kaguya-sama, Love Is War,
Kaguya-sama.
yeah.
That's how you say it. That's right.
Yes, the third and final season aired this year, and so I felt it wrapped things up without like I saw someone like write an article and they said that it settled things without settling things for the final season, and so it was like, oh, okay, this finally happened, but it didn't do it in a way that like broke the story.
So it's one of those leave up to your interpretation.
Kind of, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Sounds good. We got the camera back on Devin. And Brian. He's in the middle right there. And for fun, just so we can get a couple of clips of Chris, make sure that you're acknowledged here.
Hey, Chris.
And he's new, so we
Welcome.
Newcomer.
Yes. So hopefully you can
But he's
enjoy
cool, we
this.
like him.
Yes.
All right. So we'll keep
Fine,
seeing
that's-
Devin, see what he
Fine,
can.
that's
Very good. Okay. So we are gonna get. We'll move on into the nose. I mean, I want to hear more yeses from everybody, but so that we can keep up with the recordings, we're gonna move that. Actually, I'll just go down my list, and I want to hear if you guys see something on here that is not mentioned. Then we'll get to that.
We're still recording,
'Cause-
right?
What?
We're still recording there.
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I have it on you right now. Yes.
Hi.
Keep at it. Maybe we'll just add you in that tiny little square on the side as to show that you're actually solving these.
That's what I
throughout
was
the entire
thinking.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll do it that way.
Okay.
I'll see how I can figure that part out.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to top 10 no's of 2022. All right, number 10. Okay, Antonio Brown has this really weird kind of mental breakdown in the middle of a playoff game, in the NFL earlier this year. He's kind of been getting into some trouble. I don't remember where this was. I think it was in the Middle East. He went to a hotel out there, and he swam naked. And kind of put his butt in front of women's faces. That was...
Wait, like that was a separate incident?
That was a separate incident. That was like 10 months after the fact.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, he's made splashes a couple of times.
Pun intended.
Yeah. No, that was not intended. How do I keep doing this? I am so unaware. I'm usually a self-aware person. My gosh. That was good. That was good. Thanks for pointing that out. Hey! All right. Okay, so let's move on to number 9 before we get more excited or create any more weird puns.
Nerds. Nerds.
Okay, Nick Wright. Nick Wright is a sports broadcast host on FS1 and now has his own podcast. There is actually a lot I like from Nick Wright. He's, he's very well dressed, as I try to be. He actually has some good sports takes. I'll give him that credit. But this year, he's always blindsided. He's very biased toward the Chiefs in football, given they're a good team, but it seems like he's been a little bit more fair. But the main things I personally am striking him down for this year is he's got this immensely terrible take on LeBron James being so much better than Michael Jordan. I hear some people's arguments, and some of them can come across as valid, but he is so blindsided to it. In addition, he's mentioned so many weird things relating to race and sports that I'm just like, wait, how did you twist that into that? We don't need commentary like that in this particular topic. It's like blindsiding. And I just thought, okay, he's getting a little bit more arrogant, a little bit more wanting to just say things that don't really have anything to do with sports, even though in some way he does twist it in that way. So I'm just saying he's got to simmer down, he's got to chill out and not be so, what's the word I'm trying to come up with? So self-righteous, basically. So that's why he's on the list here. Okay, number 8. Getting into here. You knew it had to be on this list somewhere. Will Smith.
Yep.
The slap heard around the world. Now, I don't know who else thought this. Did anybody else at first think this was fake but me? Or did everyone think it was legit?
I saw the clips or the statement before I actually saw the video. So I was just like, maybe.
I thought the sound just sounded fake. When I first saw it, I thought he must have hit Chris Tucker on the microphone. Like his microphone must have caught wind or whatever was going on.
I think it was just like a it was a show, for him, for Will Smith. Because if he wanted to actually hit Chris Rock, he could have hit Chris Rock.
Yeah.
But I think it was just showing.
Yeah. Well, one way or another, it was really weird. And his little commentary about keeping Jada Pinkett Smith's name out of his mouth. That was a bit much. His acceptance speech afterward was a bit awkward also. So, Will Smith, I love you. You're always the Fresh Prince to me, but yeah.
But it did spur some of the best memes of the year.
Tanner, you are not wrong. So, 10 points to you.
Yes.
10 points.
Gryffindor, yes. We'll get Ravenclaw in there, maybe.
My team, so.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to, I think it's number 7. Amber Heard.
Oh my.
Here we go.
Where do you even begin?
It was a train wreck. She was awful.
Okay.
I think she got approved for an appeal.
So she
Double
did get.
check me on that.
So I think she did.
She got $1 million.
She got some money back, but she owes more money than what she got back. But if you actually watch
Sucker.
some of this stuff, she's really bad at even acting at trying to pretend like she's the victim. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know everything that I'm sure Johnny Depp's not completely innocent in everything, but the defamation stuff, just that, she kind of messed up. And, hey, I want to see him in stuff again. I'm not saying he's perfect, but he's more entertaining than she is.
With the jury, what they concluded or what they could come to an agreement on is that both parties did some like bad things to each other. But when it came to Amber Heard's story, there were a number of things that just did not line up.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's story was just overall more believable, or
And
things
way
made more sense.
and way more entertaining. There was fecal matter in the bed. How do you know it wasn't your dog's? Well, the dogs are tiny. Okay, so we get the gist of this one. Okay, we'll move on to number 6 on here. I'm glad everyone agrees that that one kind of makes sense on this list.
Yes.
Okay, so Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA. A lot of weird stuff going on this year. Not really quick to punish Kyrie Irving, where maybe that's not justified, I'm not 100% sure, but he's really slow to act on stuff. He's also got a lot of kind of hypocritical moments coming in because the NBA is trying to do some stuff, some games in the Middle East. I couldn't tell you, I want to say it's the UAE, but they've also had a lot of contradictory things like that because they're trying to be very LGBTQ positive, but that country really is not. So there's a lot of complicated stuff going on there, and he's not really being able to act very quickly in order to resolve issues that are relating to at least the players of the team. Maybe not the individual owners or the fans, but the team, the players, he's being a little, business ventures are a little too complicated over there. So that's why I got him on here. Not everything is lining up. All right, number 5, Bob Chapek, the guy who is, I'm not sure 100% sure, blamable for all the Disney crap that's been going down, but he was there. He did get let go by, I'm guessing, the board of directors or whoever is in charge of making that happen.
It was like a weird kind of like thing because they swapped him out for the previous.
Yeah, so Bob Iger's coming back, and I think Bob
We're
Iger.
talking about Disney.
Yeah. So I think Bob Iger
I know
does
the
have
story.
some blame, but he's the guy who was mostly involved in all this stuff in 2022.
I know the story behind that, actually. So the guy that got let go, he was really pushing towards Disney Plus.
Well, they were trying to put a lot of content on there.
Yeah. And what happened with that was like the writers were getting burnt out because all this content had to be pushed onto Disney Plus, and you know we see that the MCU Phase 4 was kind of a train wreck.
Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah.
There were some good shows early, but
Yeah.
overall, just not a good experience.
Let's wreck.
Mostly a wreck.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's why they brought the former CEO back, because the shareholders were unhappy with how things were going.
Yeah. Well, there's also that, we'll call it according to Dean Pelton from Community, we'll call it a kerfuffle on a lot of the legislation going on with Florida. Now, again, we don't have to bring politics into that, but that it was a big deal that was mentioned. So Disney World is actually getting a lot of privileges suspended for them, and that's kind of his doing for not trying to cooperate with, we'll call it the familial agenda, just to be apolitical as we can. All right, so let's move on to the next one. I think it's number 4. Yeah, number 4. Kim Kardashian. So this is okay. This is not the reason for being on this list, but dating Pete Davidson does not help being on this list. Now, Pete Davidson can be funny, but I think everyone can acknowledge he's kind of a weirdo. But most of her reasonings is, it seems like she and her, her divorce battle with Kanye just went really awkward, and she is not helping out with at least her daughter. not Blue Ivy. I think it's Northwest is her first. Yeah, because Blue Ivy's Jay-Z and Beyonce. I know this stuff. So yeah, but apparently she's trying to create like her own TikTok account for her daughter, and it's at that age, her daughter's still really young. It's kind of awkward to try and get her to be a social media star and things like that. And also her incredibly delayed and probably not even believable apology about the whole Balenciaga fiasco that went down earlier this year. Also, did not really help. So speaking of which, for number 3, Balenciaga makes a list. Okay, how many people don't know about this story?
I don't think I do.
I don't.
Okay, so Balenciaga is like a really high-end fashion brand. And they had a photo shoot with children, with teddy bears, but also a lot of like, we'll call it dominatrix items.
Wait, so the children were modeling?
The children were modeling.
Were the bears modeling?
The bears had like BTSM
Wow.
things
Okay.
on them.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they tried to make it a whole kerfuffle with the setup people, the third party, and there was a lawsuit for that, but it was quickly dropped because they couldn't prove that it was not their fault. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. When you get kids involved, you're kind of screwing yourself. So yeah, they have to be on this list for getting a little too quick and touchy with that sort of topic. All right, number 2, Ezra, what's his, Miller, that's right. This is someone who I really debated whether he should be on this list or not, because not everything he did technically is entertainment related, but everything he did very easily could have affected everything entertainment related. Guess he's, I'm going to have to use the word allegedly in a lot of these cases because I don't know which ones are facts, but allegedly he kidnapped somebody. Allegedly he hurt another person. And he's kind of been on the run for a lot of different authorities while still trying to prepare to promote Flash, which surprisingly he might still be involved in. I still don't know all those details. And just as kind of the only entertainment thing, I don't hate him as Credence in the Fantastic Beasts films, but that movie was kind of meh to me. So that doesn't really help his case here either. Does anybody have anything else that they know about with Ezra? Kind of sounds like you kind of knew something, Aaron.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like because DC is the main property that he's with.
Yes.
Well, Warner Brothers. Let's say Warner Brothers because the Harry Potter is associated with Warner Brothers.
Yep.
And so it's just like a lot of his decisions. I feel that just his climate with Warner Brothers is just like so mixed at the moment. It's like, oh, we're not sure about keeping him. Oh, we're gonna still keep him. And it's just, I don't know. Like, is Warner Brothers making good steps? We hope so. With James Gunn taking the helm, we hope so. But they just need to. I feel like Hollywood needs to figure out what they're gonna do in regards to his situation.
I feel like we need a lot more business managers and agents that need to step in and say, hey, shape up, kind of thing. Hopefully that's kind of the aspect that I would like to get into, so we'll have to see how that goes. Anybody else have something to mention? Nope, that's fine. Okay, and number 1. Biggest no of 2022, in my opinion, Lizzo. So beyond the fact that I think her album was not good, now I don't think it's the worst. I think her last album was probably a bit worse than the one we have here, but I still didn't like it. She had a TV show called Girls with a Z at the end. That was, all this body positivity kind of thing, which, I mean, it to some degree is fine, but it was really just kind of, it didn't feel very positive. I mean, it didn't feel as positive as it could have been. It felt kind of manipulative. She also said a lot of strange things when she got awards for almost every category, actually. She's been to a lot of award ceremonies this year and has said a lot of weird stuff. She also did a concert where somehow, some way, she got permission to get President James Madison's flute. So she played with it. There was one video where she did and it was fine, but then the one where she took to a concert, she played with it and twerked with it.
Wait, what?
Yep. So on stage with the former founding father and former president of the United States' flute, like an actual flute that he played. She got to play it, and
Why did she do that?
I don't know.
We can talk about it. That's fine.
Seriously, some people just need to grow up. Like be professional. Come on.
Yep.
What I have to say about that is very YouTube friendly, so I'm just gonna...
All right, we can hear about that afterward. But yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting a few things. She's done a lot. There's a lot of non-music things also. She's been in commercials also that just seem kind of overproduced and awkward. But those were probably the main things that I could talk about in this instance. So yeah, here we go. Those are my personal no's for the year. How about anybody else? Does anybody have a no that they want to mention for this past year? Or if we want to go to a positive note, we can pass the Dundee, aka the Fake Yes Award, and
It's more of just
do something
regular
positive.
no. But
Hmm?
it's,
Yeah, you've got about 3 minutes.
Okay, we can get one in there.
Black Adam, I did not really like that. It was boring, and the storyline was just not great.
Okay, I mean, I've heard some people say that. I was almost going to see it, but didn't end up putting in enough
I've
time.
never particularly liked The Rock. He's odd.
Here's how I think
That's
about
a nice way of saying it.
it's like here's how I think about The Rock. And I mean this in the nicest way possible.
Uh-oh.
The Rock The Rock is the Brendan Fraser of this generation. Like what he does at the moment isn't in a lot of high award winning things, but they're not terrible they're not absolutely awful kind of things. But Brendan Fraser's actually doing a lot of great stuff right now. So he could turn it around and he could, output some really, really interesting and cool stuff.
I don't think I've ever heard Brendan Fraser and The Rock be compared to anything ever. So that is great.
Especially in
That
the
is
same sentence.
that is for that alone. I'm very happy right now just to have heard that comparison.
I applaud you.
There you go. Chris, we haven't heard a lot from you. Do you have anything you didn't like this year? I don't feel like you're easily someone who's vocalizes stuff he hates.
Negatives for 2022. Nothing particular.
Nothing.
That comes to my mind at the moment.
Nothing in movies, art, music, poisonous reptiles.
Poison Reptiles in 2022, whole separate category.
Perfect. All right. Well, we went through those. Aaron, let's pass. We're gonna spotlight Ryan right now. Ryan, pass the torch. You get your moment to shine with 3 books, and last year we were able to do so, and you gave us a lot of great stuff to talk about. The thing is, you talked about it for a very long time, and that is fine. The thing is, my channel does not allow it all that well. So, not to put you on the spot, but right now, I'm going to mention this right here. We're going to let him talk about this for 2 minutes. I want to see how fast he can talk. Starting in 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay. 2 books. One is The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson, and number 2 is I Must Betray You by Rucha Sepetys. Brandon Sanderson, he came up with his last and final book of the Mistborn series. And we've actually been waiting for a really long time because the first book, The Alloy of Law, that came out around 2000 or 2011. And I thought it was really, really good, but there were like a few hiccups. He had plenty of stuff to put in this book. He had great character development. As I said, I did have a few problems with the book, but I think the Lost Medal was a pretty good conclusion. But this book didn't quite come together as well as Shadows of Self or the Bands of Mourning for me. I'd say this book has a lot of pieces that are extremely awesome, and while the book is good overall, the whole is less than the sum of parts. I think ultimately the problem is overall the plot of the book. It's not as interesting conceptually as what we got in Shadows of Self or Bands of Mourning, and doesn't really come together. One of the plot lines for half the book feels a bit like it's spinning its wheels until we get to the epic conclusion. And Ruta Septies was awesome. It's about communist Romania in 1989.
Yay!
Oh my gosh.
Let's bravo!
Right on the dot. I'm just laughing at your choice of the line.
I know.
Let's find someone to get married to and walk down the aisle with that one.
You kind of have to.
Thanks, Alphys. When Aaron DJs my wedding, we will have that song. So.
Count on it.
Let's put in a hefty.
Minus anybody getting kicked in the chin.
You're not wrong with that either. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about, oh, right. So one thing that I have to repent for is I didn't make as many videos specifically about albums this year. So I want to hear from everybody. What's either a song you really loved or an album you really loved? Everyone just go crazy.
All at once.
Go. Okay, Aaron.
I have 6 albums I can think of. I'm just going to...
2 minutes.
Done. Okay. Taylor Swift's Midnight, Harry Styles' Harry's House, Aurora, The Gods We Can Touch, Billie Eilish, guitar songs, Sigrid, How to Let Go, and Paramore, This Is Why.
It's funny. I strongly agree with you on one, and I strongly disagree with you on another.
What's...
I think I know which one, but I'm not sure.
Which ones?
So my personal, the only album that I had, time, whatever my bullcrap excuses are for not making as many videos, the only yes I gave to was Sigrid, and I love that album. Now I don't think it's I think it's a very simple album, but the choice of the storytelling with her songs, I think is great. And the fact that she does not try to overdo anything. She tries to make it, cool and modern, but not necessarily controlled, but,
Also gives it her own style.
Yes, she's very good at just doing what she does. It's very, I guess, controlled. We can say she's, it's not even like she's holding back. She just has what it is. Now, the album I'm going to disagree with you on, and I'm going to make a video about this one. I actually may have recorded this already, just haven't posted yet, is Taylor Swift.
Yep, that's what I thought I was going to do.
So I thought, now, I don't think that is the worst album. If I had enough no's in music to put on there, that is not something I would say is the worst album of the year, similar to the Lizzo album. I actually have 1 or 2 albums that I didn't post a video for that I'd have to re-listen to and say yep, this is the worst album of the year. I just think the Midnights is very boring. I think, she goes from country to pop to kind of folk, and Midnights is kind of like this quiet
Halfway road.
Yeah, it's very that's an okay mood to have. The issue I have with it is it doesn't feel like it's consistent through... it is consistent through the whole album, but its consistency of interest is not that high, in my opinion.
That's fair.
So there are a few songs in there where I'm like, I would revisit that. But as a whole album, like if you enjoy it, that's cool, and I'm okay with you mentioning that as your favorite. That's fine. But for me, I'm just like, I think Taylor Swift does better. I think Folklore from a few years ago, that was amazing. I like that one a lot. So Taylor Swift's always a mixed bag for me. All right, so I guess I went next. So who wants to go after me?
Well, I'm probably a little biased, but because I'm such a big fan of Brantley Gilbert, but I did love the album he put out, so help me God. And I know you did too.
I liked it. I have the
That was
review,
really good.
and I still haven't posted it, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, and that's all right.
Yeah, but
I was
all
just
of your-
shocked when I found out that you listened to it before I told you that. Because that's not how it went last time.
no, it isn't. No, but that's a different style of country that I'm warming up to. But Brantley has, I think it's because of his voice, because it's so unique, that I'm attracted to it.
Yeah.
So
And then the album Kane Brown put out earlier this year, I thought was also pretty good. I didn't think it wasn't amazing, but it was good. It was called Different Man. And I think I kept like 3 or 4 tracks from that in my library.
I remember liking it too, but I have not listened to it a second time. But there were standouts for me, so I agree with that.
Yeah. And then an honorable mention, I didn't think this album was amazing, but there were a few good tracks. Post Malone, 12 Karat Toothache.
Okay.
Like,
I'm surprised.
Hollywood's Bleeding was a much better album, but this one had some good stuff here and there.
I'm surprised I don't even know if I listened to it all the way through once, which I'm very shocked about because I love I do like Post Malone. I don't know what was wrong with me with music this year. I've listened to so much, but reviewed so little of it. But I don't know, prioritizing other things, I suppose. But we'll fix that this year. We'll get that fixed. How about you, Aaron? I'm sure you got some stuff.
Got a couple, like 2 I'm going to mention. So, Bad Sons, Apocalypse Whenever, came
Yes.
out towards the beginning of 2022, but is still one of my favorite albums of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who Bad Sons is, they're kind of like a little bit indie rock. Their style is more reminiscent of like between the 80s to 2000s. And if you've liked their previous albums, you're going to like this album. If you wanted them to bring it a little bit more to the modern age, you will like this album as well. So, if you're just nostalgic for a lot of like sweet summer sounding rock from like a California band, you're really gonna like this album. There's some energetic stuff as well.
I know that this is like just our connection coming through, but that description of California rock just resonates with me so much.
It's the sound. They're from California. There's just a particular sound that a lot of California bands have. And it's just
I mean, that's where you, me, and Devin all connect. I mean, we all met at BYU Idaho, but we all have our roots from there. And are all 3 of you technically from Utah?
Yes.
I'm completely
Natively.
from Utah.
Well, I mean, I know your parents are. And Ryan, you've basically grew up in Utah. Okay, yeah, I thought, like, am I forgetting something? Because I know I have a lot of coworkers over at at my work who are from Utah, but they have lived in various different places. So I was just trying to make sure I wasn't forgetting something in my mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I was born here, so.
Yeah.
I have one more album.
Okay. Yeah.
One
let's
more
do
album.
this.
One more album I want to mention. I feel like he's not super known, but his name is Jeriqo Johnson, and he released an album called "I Want Blood, I Want Love." And so he does. It's like rap rock with electronic. And so his style is just very unique. I don't really know how to describe the way this sounds, other than what I just described. But if you're into any of those genres or multiple of those genres, I recommend checking it out just because it's just very different from anything you would just like catch hearing on the radio.
Very cool. How about you, Chris? You got some music? We've talked a little bit about music over these last few months.
So you actually introduced me to Skrillex this year, which is great. So I'm trying to like get into that genre a little bit more.
Dubstep.
But dubstep as well, a little bit as well. Nothing like particular like artist or singer. So it's just new to me, so it's great. But nothing of a particular band or anything of this year yet.
All right, so just finding new things.
New
here.
discoveries song.
All right, very cool.
I guess on the note of Skrillex though, like
Yeah.
bleeding a little bit into the beginning of 2023 this year.
Yeah.
Is he's been dropping a few collaboration things, and they've been like very refreshing because it's like like new stuff, but it still has that very much the Skrillex sound from like a few years back. And so I'm wondering if he's gonna drop a new album.
Even if we got an EP, like he's really good at EPs, I would be totally okay with that. Like, I mean, because his EPs are, I mean, they're more than 3 songs usually.
Yeah. But he only has one album, so
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't count all the collaborations.
Yeah, if you don't count all the collaborations, all the stuff he did before he got into anything EDM related also. What was the band that he was a part of before?
I can't remember.
Hey! Good job.
The last and final one.
This is fun. Now it's crunch time. Now it is big time crunch time. So we'll have to see what we can do. But I'm impressed. So good job, Devin.
You're welcome.
Did you have anything else to highlight on that?
I hope that was my Rubik's Cube because that took you a while. So I'm pretty proud.
Yeah. Well, I screwed up on the last bit of it. I was doing this sort of parody algorithm on the last side to get the edges.
I was trying to make it so it wasn't too predictable of a pattern.
Well, it was a little bit harder. So, anyways, I was doing that parody and then I messed up somewhere because I'm used to doing it on a 2x2 versus a 6x6. So, yeah, and that's where I messed up. It's just larger scale.
Good. I am proud that I made you mess up.
Thank you, Aaron.
Devin, it's your turn. You got any music from this past year you like?
Honestly, when you did your album review of Sleepy Fish, finally got around to listening to it. I'm like, oh dang, this is actually really good. And yeah, I've listened to it a ton of times.
Well, do you remember which one? Or just his music in general? Because he did release an album this year that was collaborated with somebody else that I didn't get around to. But the previous 2 albums he released, I foam over because I am so in awe and like an ecstasy mode of floating in the water and stuff like that. Really weird description of really loving something, but that's kind of what it feels like. Whatever Nirvana is, that's what Sleepy Fish music feels like.
Not the band Nirvana, but Nirvana itself. Like that's the feeling.
Yes. Yeah. Not the same. Yeah, different. 2 different musics.
I believe it was an album that you reviewed earlier last year.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember the names of both of them. Here, actually,
I remember the color of the album. There was like some blue in it.
Yeah. Well, here, I got my list of music that I was listening to. Let's see. Is it from this year, last year? Oh, let's see. If it was from last year, then let's see. Like the Sky or Something Else. That album cover has like monkeys in a hot tub or something like that, a hot spring. But the previous year, he had an album named Everything Fades to Blue. That was the one I liked more because it had a little bit more variety in it. But then he also had an album named... Sorry, that's my brother-in-law texting me.
Tone away.
R2D2. I love my ringtones. My text tones. The other album was called Beneath Your Waves. Thanks, Colton.
That's all.
Oh, that's right. I'm connected to the speaker. That's awesome. You got an honorable mention, Colton. Thank you. Yeah, Beneath Your Waves I love a lot because that one is more consistent than the other one. And if you just want basically one mood that does flow really well, that's the one I would really go with. Mm-hmm. 5 minutes according to Tenor. Okay, so last other thing that we're all gonna like talk about: top 5 movies, and we're gonna like if we want to have a discussion, we can go on to the next spot. But if you have at most 5 movies. We'll start on Chris's end over here and come back to me. So, Chris,
All right.
favorite movies that came out this year?
All right. So number 5, The Lost City.
Okay.
Number 4 is Now You See Me Run.
See How They Run?
Yes, that one. Yes.
Yeah.
And then let's see, The Batman.
Okay.
No, it's a good one.
and Glass Onion, Knives Out sequel, and then the first top one is Top Gun Maverick.
Okay. All right. Devin, you're next.
Let's see here. Spider-Man No Way Home, more fun stuff. That was pretty good.
You like the extended edition that?
Oh yeah, with the extended edition with all the extra scenes and
Okay,
stuff.
so I guess in a way that counts for this year. I'll let it
Yes, it
slide.
does.
So go for
It
it.
does count.
Yeah.
I would not mention it if it did not come out that year.
All right.
Gosh, what else was there?
You get 5, so there's 1.
I guess apparently Avatar Life,
The Way of Water.
Way of the Water, that came out technically last year.
No, it was this year.
This
No,
is
in
it.
2022. We're going to get technical about the phraseology of 20 because
Okay.
that's all that we're talking about.
2022.
If we were recording this on December 31st, then it would be less complicated. But I don't feel like anyone is always available, so that's why we
I
do
see.
this after the year.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I did see it this year, but
Okay.
yeah, I looked up online like, oh, it came out last year. I'm like,
Yeah.
when?
Around the end of the year in December.
Yeah.
All right. So there's 1. There's your second one.
Let's see here.
His brain's split in two, trying to do 2 things at once.
Sorry.
No idea how freaking hard this is.
I believe it. I believe it's very, very, very hard.
I've never been able to solve one, so I do believe it.
Let's see here.
Now you did like the Batman. I don't know if that would be in the list, but
It would be on the list, yeah.
Okay.
It was, the battle was good. Oh, what was it? Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I thought that was pretty good.
Okay.
Directed by Sam Raimi.
yeah.
Comparing it from when he did, it's another Spider-Man, wow. Spider-Man 1 and 2 and
The
3.
original Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies that
Because he
Sony.
really is a horror director.
Yep.
And so, just judging from from his Spider-Man work to this Doctor Strange work, I could see like some improvements when it comes to like jump scares and that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, that was good.
There's 4. Do you have a 5th one?
A 5th one is a documentary. Oh, The Tinder Swindler.
Okay.
Really good. It's about this one guy that basically just like faked his life to all of his matches on Tinder.
So like everyone.
Well, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. He would be asking them for money, and he would promise them like, I'll give it back to you, and yada yada yada, and he never did. Till eventually, cops were just trying to get a hold of him and whatnot. I don't want to put any spoilers out there, so I think I would just end it right there.
All right. Fair enough. All right, Ryan. Go. Top 5 movies that you
All
personally
right.
liked.
Number 1 is the Doctor Strange.
Okay. Multiverse of Madness.
Number 2, Knives Out.
Okay.
So Glass Onion.
You mean Glass Onion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Number 3 is Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Number 4. The movie we saw together.
Ticket to Paradise.
Yes.
Okay.
Ticket to Paradise. That was really, really cute.
It was. Yeah.
And then what I actually just saw on Friday with one of my friends, Devotion.
Oh, okay.
Well, I do want to see that.
Okay. I don't know a lot about it.
Devotion was phenomenal. It totally crushed my heart into a billion tiny pieces and scattered it to the wind. But it was really, really good. I think you guys will
Okay.
like it.
Something to note. All right. Tanner. Your turn.
All right. So I have 3 top favorites, and then I've got 3 honorable mentions. So
Alright.
my number 1 was Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
Number 2 was Glass Onion.
Okay.
Number 3 was actually See How They Run. I still need to see it again, but I enjoyed it. It was really funny, and I think that movie, I don't know why they didn't do any advertising for it. Like, nobody really knows about it, but I found it a very enjoyable, entertaining movie.
Yeah.
And then my honorable mentions were Minions. That was fun.
Alright.
Ticket to Paradise. I do have one small issue with that movie.
Is it the ending?
Yeah, the ending, because, I mean, well, first off, it was a cute movie. How often do you hear me use that word?
Like
Unless
once
I'm
a year?
talking about a dog.
Yeah, like I feel like you mentioned that like once a year about something, not necessarily a movie, just something that you like. Oh, that was cute. I'm like,
What?
we got to see his emotional side. That's kind of what it feels like. But anyway,
But my problem with the ending was, it was cute that the parents decided to stay on the island. But I thought a much better ending would have been if they'd rebuilt their house by the lake that George Clooney talked about earlier in the movie. I thought that would have been a much nicer ending for the couple. But that was just me.
I don't disagree. It would have had somewhat more meaning. It was kind of cheesy how it ended.
Yeah.
But
And then Wakanda Forever. I need to see it again with some new insights.
Okay.
Because I went into it thinking, oh, I wonder what they're going to do. Now I want to see it again and actually pay more attention to the story. But their Chadwick Boseman, wow, I really messed it up. Their tribute to Chadwick Boseman really moved me. I thought that was really good.
that probably was the best part of the movie, was
It was.
everything that they could tribute to him. So that part I think they did a fantastic job of.
Yeah.
I know some people who think they should have recast him, and I'm like, I would have preferred if they could have recast it, but who could have been?
Yeah, that would be
Recast.
really
That's the-
hard shoes to fill.
Yeah, like it's like the story probably would have been more interesting if we could have recast just T'Challa.
Yeah. The
But-
director actually wanted to recast him.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I can't think of anyone who could have done it. I really can't. Maybe someone could have. It's possible. I
It
just
would've-
can't.
It would have been a gamble. I'll give that.
Yeah.
I think the direction they're moving toward with it, where it's going to be his son, is probably the best choice they could have made.
Yeah, we'll get to see that in a few years.
Yeah,
Maybe a decade, probably.
it'll be a while, but still.
All right, Eric.
Alright, my honorable mention is Bullet Train, because it was just such a interesting, zany movie.
It was a fast ride.
Yeah, it was a very fast ride. Yeah, very much so. So just for that purpose alone, it's an honorable mention. Top Gun Maverick, yes. Also, I'd only seen the first Top Gun this same year, just maybe a month beforehand, and so having just recently saw it and then seeing it within a month after that, I definitely appreciate Top Gun Maverick quite a bit. See How They Run is another one that made the list. That movie wasn't even on my radar until we all went and saw it together. I was just like, I've never even heard of this movie. Let's go see it. And it was just surprising, because it was a whodunit, and it did. I wasn't able to predict a lot of it at the same time, but it didn't do it in the same way that Knives Out or Glass Onion did it. It did it in a very different way at the same time.
I enjoyed that it was self-aware,
Yes, very
Yeah.
self-aware of what it was.
making fun of other whodunits and stuff like that. That was cool.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was only able to see it at the very tail end / the beginning of this year. I appreciate Multiverse of Madness because it did a lot of different things from what the rest of the MCU has done. But I didn't get to see a lot of the different... We only got to see a lot of the different universes for a split second.
That's true. There was one that we spent a lot of time
Yeah.
on.
And
That's going to continue to grow as they
Yeah.
produce more movies.
we hope. But if you want to see more different and weird universes and a movie with a lot of heart, I definitely recommend Everything Everywhere All at Once because it really dives into all the weird, different, alternate universes that could be explored.
Alright.
And then the last one I can mention is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers because that went straight to Disney Plus. And I feel like not a ton of people have talked about it, but I feel like it's just such an excellent movie, and I've watched it 3 times. Last year I watched it 3 times with different people, and everyone enjoyed it like each time. And I enjoyed rewatching it every single time. And I feel like No Way Home, it builds off of the weirdness of the politics of movies and of our culture. And so it makes the absolute best of everything. And so if you haven't watched it, even if you don't know that much about like Disney's like Chip and Dale,
Like the original stuff.
yeah, if you don't like know a bunch of that stuff, like I went in knowing like only having seen a couple episodes of like the cartoon show.
Yeah.
You're gonna absolutely enjoy it because you're gonna laugh your pants off. So get out your pants.
Very
So I have
similar to Chip and
so I have a question. Does it talk about their origin stories?
A little bit, yes.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you won't be really like you won't have missed anything if you haven't seen like
Okay.
any of the previous stuff because they won't oversaturate. They won't explain to the point where it's oversaturated, but they'll touch on it to where you'll feel like you've been filled in enough.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, cool. I did not expect that at all. And I probably expected it less. I don't know why less from you, and I don't mean that in an offensive way. I'm just like, well, I figured Aaron would have touched about something that, in my mind, I thought would have been deeper. But if he liked it, cool.
Yeah, I feel like we live in like the current state of Hollywood and everything is that we expect there to be humor in all the movies we watch. So like comedy, like straight comedy movies are less prevalent than they were in like the early 2000s and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with this year, with like stuff like The Lost City and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, it's like possibly coming back. So
Right.
maybe it's a resurgence.
The Lost City is one movie I didn't see because I had reservations about it. But everyone who has seen it has told me nothing but at least mostly positive from pure entertainment aspects of it. So that alone makes me think, all right, I now I do need to see it. I wish I'd seen it in theaters, but we'll see if when I finally do see it, if it's something where I'm like, I'm glad I watched that now instead of in theaters, or yeah, that would have been fun in theaters. I do want to have like a little series about that where I see movies where I'm like, I wish I saw that in theaters, or movies like, wait until streaming or something like that. That'd be fun. Okay, so my top 5 movies. Now this, I am going to preface, is how I feel right now. There are some movies I thought were going to be in the top 5 that are now not, and I'll probably throw them in as honorable mentions. So maybe in a month I will change my mind, but right now this is what I'm claiming are my favorite movies. So, hold on, I want to make sure I don't butcher this. It's not like last year where I would call, what did I say? I said, Far From Home every time instead of No Way Home. That was funny.
Gotta be more homes.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who hope that stops.
I don't think it will. but
I don't think it will.
Yeah,
I don't see
I
why
doubt it
not.
also.
They don't really have
There's gotta be some more creative ways
Alright,
to
that's
use it.
on a different list. Okay, my bad. Okay, so
Spider-Man home skillet.
okay,
Spider-Man.
so I've got 3 honorable mentions. I'll mention them after. So the top 5. First is Spirited, a movie with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. Christmas take. I don't know how many people saw it. It's on Apple TV if you need to see it.
I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I did see portions of it.
Yeah,
I haven't gone into
it's weird because there's a lot of things in it that I, in the moment, found very frustrating because Ryan Reynolds keeps interrupting the story, and I'm like, dude, like I know you're trying to be funny, and when you look back on it, then you're like, okay, that actually was funny, but it's just like you're ruining everything. But I'm like, that's kind of the point of his character. He's like.
He's a disruptor.
Yeah, he's like breaking the fourth wall, but not our fourth wall. He's breaking the fourth wall of the story, but he's not addressing the audience. He's just like, this is how it's supposed to be. Nope, taking it this direction.
Sounds like Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gee, I wonder how that would happen.
Yeah. Yep, so that's number 5. Number 4 is Avatar: The Way of Water. Mostly purely because it's a beautiful movie. I love looking at it, and most of the story is really, really great.
It's kind of simple, but it's one that I would revisit it just to experience it. Don't need to rave about it too much, but it is amazing. Number 3. Tanner, you're gonna think this is the funniest one ever.
All right.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
You didn't even want to see
I didn't want to see this movie. I thought it looked stupid, but I liked it. I thought it's actually a really good story. It really is. Everything.
How so?
Yeah.
How
Oh, how so?
How
Okay.
so? On that comment.
The story is actually competent. The animation at the beginning, when the trailers came out, I thought looked kind of funny because it kind of switches between 2 different animation styles, not too far off from each other. It's kind of like if DreamWorks was quasi going back to some 2D animation, but not quite, and also incorporating some of the Into the Spider-Verse kind of stuff. So it's like, all right, so our eyes are being tested like in the action scenes of the movie. So yeah, but the story is actually competent. I thought the story was going to be stupid because the trailers were indicating that it was going to be stupid, but no, it's actually a really good movie. I would rewatch it, and I would encourage everybody to actually see it. Okay, number 2, Minions: The Rise of Gru. I have not laughed so hard in a movie theater since seeing that. I thought that was... It's not the greatest story ever told. It's just really funny. But hey, for some other animated movies out there that came out this year, it's more competent than those, despite all of its buffoonness. But
Yeah, I mean, it even got a stupid TikTok trend for a little while.
yeah. And then you can probably guess my number 1 is Top Gun Maverick. I almost saw this 3 times in theaters. Saw it once by myself, once with Tanner and Chris. And then when I went on my cruise with my family, there's this giant theater in the back of the cruise ship, and they played it there, and I got to watch it with a whole bunch of strangers. And so,
Cool.
yeah, great. But it was fun. Liked it. So, 3 honorable mentions. Since Aaron or Brian, I don't remember. Someone mentioned Netflix or a streaming movie. The Gray Man. I didn't get a chance to see that in theaters. I saw it on Netflix. That was actually a good movie for a spy espionage kind of thing. It's not amazing, but it is way better than a B movie. Like there are some action aspects of that movie that are really above average that I think everyone should check out. And then my other 2 are Now You See Me and Glass Onion.
You mean See How They Run?
See how they run?
What did I say?
Now you
Oh,
see me.
I said the same thing.
That's right.
Sorry, I got you confused.
There we go. See How They Run. So, both murder mysteries, love them a lot. I thought Glass Onion was going to make the top 5. Now, I still like rewatching the movie, but I've rewatched it again on Netflix, and there's a lot of holes that now I can't unsee if I care to think about it. But I can still watch it. I can still be entertained by it. I will rewatch it. I will be entertained by it again. But there are some things where I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of weird. I noticed, Aaron, you didn't throw it in there.
Yeah.
Do you have a similar issues with
that? When we all saw it together, I was just like, okay, I can kind of see some of these, but I was just like, at the same time, I was just like, it doesn't. My issue was it didn't hold up as well as Knives Out, which I absolutely loved. I
love Knives Out. I do love that movie.
So, and yeah, I was like, I guess I can see some of this. And I'm like, oh, they're bringing this, I'm not going to spoil anything. I was just like, just bringing, they're bringing this kind of trope from, other movies and
right.
stuff like that.
Now, I know we've all seen it. Devin, have you seen Glass Onion?
Seen what?
Glass Onion?
Glass Onion. No, I've been wanting to see it, but yeah, I've just
Okay,
can't get around to it.
I recommend it's worth a watch, but you'll have to make up your own mind whether you like it or not. And I do like it, but I don't know if everybody else has had a chance to think about this, because I left the theater thinking positively about
I think it was a worthy sequel.
Worthy sequel, yes.
Yeah.
It did its job well.
Now, here's, without spoiling it for Devin, I have 3 issues with it. Boo! The twist, I'm going to give it a pass, but I'm not going to say I like it. I was like, I'll let it go, but I think the twist could have been better. The timing of the twist, I also didn't like, because it's in
It's
about an
mid.
hour.
Yeah.
Into it. I didn't like the timing of the twist. And then the third thing, the person who is quote unquote actually dead, we don't really care about that person. Not like in Knives Out, Harlan, we get all these flashbacks. We grow to like the person who did get murdered, or like who dies in the movie, the main one. So that's something that kind of sparked my brain just a few days ago. I'm like, we don't really care about her actually. We care about the story that's being told, but we don't care about who was murdered.
I feel like it's
And I've never
like,
even thought about that.
it's
Yeah.
because they talk more about her than actually show her.
Yeah,
So I
that
think
is
that's
true.
the main issue.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to pass around the Dundee, aka, I'm going to keep saying this, aka the Fake Yes Award, to anybody else who has something they want to give to. Ryan, since it's right next to you, do you have a award that you want to, or something in entertainment you want to congratulate to?
It's more just like in just world that happened. The UK and its allies announced sanctions against Russia, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, not
which-
entertainment related, but okay.
Yeah, which increased in scope as the days and weeks passed. So NATO prepared for potential escalation beyond Ukraine's borders. The U.S., UK, and others supply arms and other equipment and aid to Ukraine.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty cool for us to start helping. So.
Alright. While Devin's almost done with that, let's pass the award over to Chris, see if he's got something he wants to give a particular shout out to. It's all on you.
No pressure.
No pressure
whatsoever.
Don't mess up. No, I'm just
I heard that the writer is actually writing the third movie of the Knives Out of the third movie.
Yes, so we will get a.
They just started.
Yeah.
Nice.
The writer just
That means
started.
that there's a demand.
Yeah. I will. Yeah, well, people want this. Now, I know some people who are kind of Is it Ryan Johnson? Is that his name?
Johnson.
Yeah, they're kind of critics of him, mostly because of The Last Jedi, which a lot of people have issues with. Some people don't, some people do. But I mean, I welcome it. So.
Anything else? Let's see.
Anything with music, or I'm trying to remember what else aside from movies, like you're really into.
I'm into Marvel a lot, but
Yeah.
so I think Phase 5 for this year will actually be better than Phase 4. I know that for sure. It looks like Ant-Man is going to kick it off in February.
I'm actually surprised. I'm actually excited for
I'm
the
actually-
Ant-Man movie. Maybe I'm be disappointed.
because
I
it,
hope not.
it introduces the main bad guy for the Phase 5. In Phase 6,
Yeah, what's his name again?
King of the Conqueror.
King the Conqueror.
Right.
So he's one of the biggest baddies, bigger than Thanos actually. So, and you'll see why. They'll introduce him in Ant-Man and why.
Right.
So I think that's be a good treat for that. I think that's what I'm most looking forward to for this year.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's pass that over to Devin to give him a little pause because he gets to hold the Dundee. Okay, yeah, let me relax. Now, in fairness, we did not expect to record as many times as we did, but I mean, that's just what happens
It's
when
just
you
been
have
going
stuff
that
like
well.
that.
Yeah.
And he gets to do it. We're gonna give a Dundee to Devin. Yay!
It's 2023.
Yeah. Actually, Devin, I was about to say something, but you get to announce it because the Dundee you get to give award is to
Me!
yes.
No, gosh, let's see here. Maybe.
We did talk about that actually before. It's just like I'm just gonna give the Dundee to myself. And I'm like, that's fine. Go for it.
Gosh, let's see here. You know, I think I'm just gonna have to say I gotta give it to my company. Um, it's not just because I own it or anything. There really is a reason behind it. They work hard, extremely hard. We've made business deals with Ukraine, and we've actually sent first aid kits over to them, and they liked us so much that they want to pick us up again for this year with a bigger contract. My company, by company I mean that my CEO and COO have gone to the Ukraine. My CEO has gone there twice.
Oh wow!
Representing
Actually
us.
gone.
So yeah, I'm very blessed, very blessed. But the Dundee goes to for them just doing an incredible job.
Then what's
Sweet.
the name of the company?
The name of the company is My Medic.
I just felt like we should have that in
Yes.
there too, since
Yeah,
you were talking
Throw
about
that
it.
in there. We had something we wanted to mention when you first got here. Also, I'm trying to remember.
And I have something to add on
Is
later,
it
too.
possibly my YouTube channel then? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
So Devin has finally gotten around to writing stuff for the YouTube channel he wants to start. Yeah. So it's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time just because I didn't really know what to talk about, or it just seems overwhelming for me because it's such a big task. But yeah, I just broke it down to smaller parts, and I found software programs that can just help me write, for example, or find a good title as well. So
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
stay tuned. Yeah,
Pretty
stay tuned. We'll see how it goes.
Cool. Good job. And that is a very impressive Rubik's Cube solving mechanism. That actually worked out supremely well.
My brain hurts.
Oh, Chris, you got something?
No, we're good.
Oh, okay.
I do have something.
Yes, Tanner.
Yeah, so I didn't talk to you about this beforehand because I didn't think about it till after I was making my list. But like most people, well, maybe most people, I tend to watch TikTok when I have lunch purely for entertainment purposes. So I wanted to highlight two creators.
Okay.
So the first one is he's a local Utah creator, lives out in Saratoga Springs.
Okay.
I've shared a few of his
Yes,
videos.
I know
with
who
you.
you're talking about.
Logan Pete.
Yep.
Very entertaining, very funny guy. Like, love his videos. And then this other one is more of a, it's pretty unique what I'm about to get into for this other one. So the Baker Hotel and Spa, located in Mineral Wells, Texas. You know me, I'm an odd guy. I'm into abandoned stuff, haunted places, things like that. So this was a hotel that shut down in 1972, and it's been abandoned ever since. In 2019, some people bought it, and they are currently restoring it. And the TikTok channel is all about the progress. So just a relic like that, and it's like the only building that towers over the entire town. Just watching a relic like that be restored, put back to its normal glory, instead of how everything these days seems to be getting torn down for stupid stuff like condos or warehouses.
True.
Just watching the process and watching it happen has been really amazing.
Nice. I'm glad you could talk about something that really means something to you. That's cool. All right. Do we have any other yes or no oriented aspects to talk about?
For 2022?
2022.
I mean,
We can talk about things we're looking forward to, but we'll do that off camera.
Tom came back, so
Same?
that's a big yes. Tom DeLong, he's back in Blink-182, so that's
Ah,
a big
yes,
yes.
yes,
For
you
the,
did mention that. Yes, yes.
It's a good comeback.
It's such a
Oh, that's so needed.
yeah. I mean, like no, like
Yeah, no
of course,
offense.
no offense to Matt Skiba
Yeah.
or and like because I like Matt Skiba and
Honestly, I thought you did a good job.
I'm super respectful, but he like definitely has his own style, and it's very unique to Matt Skiba. And the same for like Tom DeLonge. His style and his writing is very unique to him. So hey, even if it's just for like one album and maybe one tour, I'm happy to have it back. So yeah.
All right, cool. Anybody else think of something last minute?
No,
All
we're
right.
good.
All right, no, we're good. All right. Well, then we are going to get to the last bit. How much time we got right now?
We got about 10 minutes still.
Oh, perfect. That's just enough time for me to ramble, but not too much. Okay, let me just get the list out here. Get into the. I'll just put it here. Just show Devin his tired victory face. So, got that going. All right.
One more round for Devin.
Get one more round for Devin. Yeah. Rubik's Cube Master of the Y.E.S crew. You realize we probably will want to do this again next year. Or we'll find something.
More Rubik's Cube.
You know, they have Rubik's Cubes that are shaped in not cubes now, right?
Oh yeah,
They've
there's
got, like,
a
diamonds.
Mega Meeks, there's a Pure Meeks, just to name a couple.
Yeah, maybe we'll. If you think you can do that, maybe we can look into that.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, we'll find something because that was very entertaining. So I've got to say, and if anybody else has something they want to do, I mean, if there's some way we can get music to be better next time, because that's why we didn't do it this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't want to make it
it's
too
such a hard
complicated.
thing to do.
Because we're trying to get Pandutch's stuff highlighted as much as we can. But if he can't get it posted to YouTube,
I feel like Twitch is like honestly the safest streaming like service for. I mean, or Mixcloud if you have a Mixcloud account.
Oh, okay.
That's the other side.
Now, one thing before the Y.E.S Awards, as I always try to mention, someone handed me the Dundee. There you go. Thank you. Okay. I promise. This is purely because of what the facts are. If anybody is offended by this, I don't mean it so. This is not a political statement. I don't know why it has to be anyhow, but some people think that. It is not. I have my Oops Award. My Oops Award goes to Brittany Griner for getting arrested in Russia for having weed, or some sort of version of weed.
She deserved it.
Yeah. But she has been traded back, and we had to give away the Merchant of Death. But Brittany, I hope you have a greater appreciation for your freedom. I'm glad you're back. I mean that part sincerely, but you kind of messed up. So just throwing that out there. Again, not political. That was just how it ended up. Anyhow, all right. Now the Y.E.S Awards. If I can get to the right side.
Guess what? I'll bridge the gap while you search for your thing.
I got it. But if you got something to mention, I'll throw it.
I just want to note for everyone I got to work with, including Y.E.S. I will make like an official post and everything, but I'm very grateful and super proud to have worked with everyone I did as my work as Pandutch.
Okay, yes. And one more thing, because this is something that means something to you. Because I wanted to throw this in there, because like I said, I don't, for the mans, I don't throw anything in there for the mourning of somebody. A few quick mentions. I know I'm going to miss a lot. I almost cried when Angela Lansbury passed away. That meant a lot to me. There's several others, but also one means that I know at least a lot to me and Pandutch, because he got to meet him this year, was Jason David Frank.
Yeah.
That freaking threw me off a lot.
It was just so crazy because it was only like a few months after. It was
Yeah.
just-
I mean, can you describe him a little bit?
Well, he's just such a nice and like opening guy. Like he was just like very there for like willing to like meet the fans and just like go above and beyond to like be there to like talk with them. Just a super open and genuinely like nice person. Like that's the like when I talked to him and when I saw like how he was interacting with everyone, that's the impression that I got.
Mm-hmm.
So just like. I don't know, man.
I really wish I had been there with you.
It's just
I couldn't get out of work for it.
like everyone everyone struggles with like their various like health issues and mental health issues and stuff, and so it's just I guess the biggest message that we can take away from that is just like appreciate the work that he did on the legacy that he did, but also don't be afraid to like reach out to people and talk to people, but also be open as yourself to be there for people at the same time.
Yeah.
And
So we all need to support each other in some way. People need to feel like they have other people that have their back. So, yeah. So, in case you guys didn't know, yeah, Tommy, No, that's just not. That's how I feel. Jason David Frank was Tommy Oliver, aka the original green and original white Power Ranger.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and then he was the Red Zero Ranger, Red Turbo Ranger for the majority.
He was the
and
Black
then
Dino.
The Black Dino Thunder Ranger. So he was 5 different Rangers plus the.
And he was like the Ninja Ranger and the Alien Ranger.
Yeah, too much other stuff to talk about. But yes, so that was him. Okay, so
question: What age did he? What age?
he was 49.
Yeah, it was late 40s.
Like
Yeah.
40s? Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So he looked good. And
Yeah, very fit.
Yeah, very fit. He competed professionally for a little while, at least. I know in I don't know if mixed martial arts or karate.
Yeah, I think it was MMA, and
Yeah.
then like he won all the matches that he did, if I remember correctly. So.
Yeah. So did good. So on that somber note, now we're going to commemorate those who are still with us and get the guesses out there. What time do we have? 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna rip through these. So we're just gonna finalize this right here, right now. Let's get the top 10 guesses. We can throw in commentary, but we'll try to keep it brief. Number 10, we're going to have Manti Te'o. Anybody know who this guy is?
I'm aware.
Manti Te'o used to play professional football. He also played at Notre Dame. He had a documentary on Netflix where he talked about basically how he got catfished before catfishing became like an official thing. And it was catfished by a dude, not a dude who was pretending to be a girl, and the person who did that pretended to die on the same day that his grandma died, and it was this whole sports kerfuffle. People were making questions about his sexuality and questions about like was he sane and doing something stuff. So this documentary tried to clear some stuff up, and the biggest highlight was that he forgave the person who had caused him so much drama in his life. Because now it feels like he's more known for this than being a really good athlete. So what I really liked was the fact that he was so strong to be able to forgive someone who basically ruined his life for a few years. So there was that. So something in that. Number 9, I'm going to put Bill O'Neill. It took me forever to find this guy's name.
I think she liked it.
So this guy is in basically every Wendy's commercial now, and I don't know why, but these Wendy's commercials really are entertaining to me for some reason. And this guy is in all of them, and his Instagram is actually kind of weird. He's one of those guys who does really strange acting stuff on the side, but somehow like he's a charmer here. I don't know what it is. I felt the need to put him on this list. So, and like I said, I found so many different other names that people said, oh, his name's this. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting that. And so it took me a few months actually to find his name. All right, number 8, going to the Mayas. The Mayas won America's Got Talent this year. Now, the reason I would have possibly put them higher, but one, I did mention that AGT's production and everything was kind of wishy-washy. They were definitely the best performers, and I think the year before, they did win AGT of the Middle East. So there's, I mean, not AGT, I mean, you know, Got Talent, wherever it happens to be. So they did, I thought they were beyond better than everybody else. There were so many other acts that I personally thought were better, but they didn't come with it when they actually did the live shows. So these girls did everything right. And if everybody wants to, you go see them in Vegas if you really wanted to, because they're going to get a show. And I think they're really spectacular. All right, moving on to number 7. Staying in the dance world, I'm going to highlight the Jabberwockies. They got to do a lot this year. Tanner and I thankfully were able to go see their show, and that was amazing. But that is a local thing. They were able to play in the, what's in the NFL, not the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl. They got to perform there. They performed in the NBA Finals. They are now featured in NBA 2K also, so they are now officially in a video game. And they also had a great performance at Red Bull BC1 where they used these stools, and I thought somebody was going to die because they were taking these stools to such high levels, and I thought, I hope they had practiced this, but they killed it. So, Jabberwockies, number 7. Number 6, we're going to give this one to Kevin Wiles.
He is a sports broadcaster on Fox Sports FS1. He's just an entertaining guy. Now, he is actually a side co-host with Nick Wright, who I mentioned earlier in the nose. Nick Wright does a lot of good things. Nick Wright, Kevin Wildes, while albeit not as serious, I think that's what we need for this show. He's very comical. He actually predicted that Tom Brady would come out of retirement, and he smothered it in everybody's faces. He thought, nah, you all thought I was crazy, and he did really well. He's predicted a lot of really unexpected upset alerts in football, and he's just overall a supremely entertaining guy. So has to get a mention here. We'll go on to number 5, Rich Strike. Does anybody know this story? Anybody at all? Rich Strike was a horse that competed and won the Kentucky Derby. I'm pretty sure it was the Kentucky Derby. He was not even supposed to be racing. Someone dropped out, and this guy was ranked basically at the bottom of the bottom, but he was available, and he won. And it was just spectacular.
Whoever bet on that horse made a lot.
Yes, someone made a lot of money on this guy. There's a video about this that Brett Cooper did that is very entertaining, and I'd love to show that to you because she's really into horses. Horses are awesome. He did a good job.
Is this the first animal that's made it to the top 10?
Probably. Probably. Yeah, at least in the positive aspect. I did mention Tiger King a couple of years ago. But
That's the Tiger King.
That's the Tiger King.
I mean, I
not the
guess
Tigers.
it's an animal.
Yeah, but yeah, it's different. Okay, number 4. It's a tie, actually. I'm giving it to both Albert Pujols and to Aaron Judge. So Albert Pujols from the Cardinals used to be an Angels, so I gotta support my guy. But he was originally on the Cardinals. He hit his 700th home run. And Aaron Judge, I'm trying to remember the exact number. I think he got over 62 home runs in one season, something like that. No one has really done that ever since the Major League Baseball has started getting down on steroids. So they've tested him. He's been clean so far as I'm aware. So no one's been able to match getting more home runs in one season than Aaron Judge did. So they both get a home run honorable mention here on the list that I have here. All right, number 3, if it goes in through there. All right, number 3, the Duffer Brothers. I loved it. I mean, I only watched everything in Stranger Things this year, but season 4 was such a roller coaster, and I thought it was amazing.
And they deserve it.
They deserve whatever praise they can get. I know some people think some seasons are better than others, but I think most people who are a fan of the show tend to think this was an amazing season. So, throwing them on the list here. Number 2, I have to give it to Lionel Messi for winning the World Cup with Argentina. That is not the team that I thought was going to win. I was never anti-Lionel Messi. I think maybe it's past his time. I think maybe some other team is probably going to be better. Nope, he pulled it out. So he tied for the most assists, and he's the second guy. He got the second most goals in the tournament, just behind Kylian Mbappe, who he happened to beat in the team of France for that year. And I think he got the Golden Boot award as well. I think it's named something else, but it's technically called the Golden Boot. So yeah, Lionel Messi. And I'm guessing everyone can probably predict who number 1 is. Tom Cruise.
Very nice.
The standard that he had to have, and his rigidness, his demand for perfection for a movie like this just was amazing. Everything with the camera angles that was done, with it was excellent. I know it's probably maybe not the most worthwhile thing ever, but the fact that it was as entertaining as it was, I think deserves a spot here at the top. And that's all I got for you guys today. So, yeah. Anybody surprised by any mentions in there?
I mean, there's just stuff I didn't know about, so.
Yeah, there's a couple of things in there. Yeah, some things, I mean, if anybody who's watching the actual video has someone that they would mention, welcome to do that. But, yeah. You are very tired over there, Ryan. It's the last bit, so we're all good. So I'll throw everybody else in there a little wink here. Everyone gets to say hi, hello. All right, but that's the end of the Y.E.S Awards. We're wrapping up. We're going to see what 2023 brings. Love you all. Get your Y.E.S in your life.
Blah blah blah. See you next time. Ciao.